Do you want to learn how to have faith in uncertain times or how to trust God in your trials? If you do, you're at the right place. Hi, Anna here, and Coach Nat Crawford is going to take us through 5 episodes that show us how God's amazing power showed up in Paul's life. Paul's story is amazing, but so is yours, and we hope this series will encourage and inspire you to share how Jesus has changed your life. All right, let's join Nat.
Imagine being wrongly accused and facing an uphill battle against a powerful system. This was the story of Nelson Mandela. Imprisoned for 27 years under South Africa's apartheid regime. Despite the injustice, Mandela remained steadfast, holding on to a vision larger than his personal freedom. In his cell, he wasn't just a prisoner. He was a man determined to fight for justice, using every challenge as a stepping stone toward a greater mission. His unwavering focus on reconciliation, even while suffering, laid the foundation for the peaceful transition of his nation. Mandela's perseverance reminds us of another figure who faced unjust imprisonment, Paul. In Acts 25, Paul finds himself caught in a political power struggle, wrongfully imprisoned for 2 years. Yet, like Mandela, Paul doesn't let his circumstances deter him. Instead, he stands firm in his mission to share the gospel, seeing every trial as an opportunity to proclaim Jesus. So let's walk through Acts chapter 25 and learn from Paul's example on how to stand firm, especially in times when life feels out of control. Festus then, after arriving in the province, went up to Jerusalem from Caesarea 3 days later. And the chief priests and the leading men of the Jews brought charges against Paul, and they were pleading with Festus, requesting a concession against Paul, that he might have him brought to Jerusalem. At the same time, setting an ambush to kill him on the way. Festus had just taken over as governor, succeeding Felix, and eager to gain favor with the Jews. He quickly traveled to Jerusalem to meet with their leaders. They wasted no time pressuring him to transfer Paul to Jerusalem, hoping to ambush and kill him on the way. Even after 2 years of Paul's imprisonment in Caesarea, their animosity burned as fiercely as ever. Despite the relentless opposition, Paul stood firm, confident that God was guiding his every step. He didn't see himself as a victim of political schemes, but as a servant of God, placed in this situation to bear witness to Christ. Festus, looking to appease the Jewish leaders, suggested moving Paul's trial to Jerusalem, but Paul saw through this ploy. He knew this wasn't about justice. It was about placating political tensions. Instead of yielding, Paul made a bold decision. He appealed to Caesar, ensuring his case would be heard in Rome. Paul's response in Acts 25, beginning in verse 10, reveals his unwavering faith. By appealing to Caesar, Paul wasn't just seeking justice. He was seizing a divine opportunity to bring the gospel to the heart of the Roman Empire. This move wasn't about survival. It was about obedience to God's mission. Paul's example reminds us that our purpose, even in difficult times, isn't to escape hardship, but to remain committed to sharing Jesus. He could have demanded his rights or given in to bitterness, but instead, he trusted God's sovereignty. His appeal to Caesar was a statement of faith, saying, "Lord, I'll go wherever you lead, even if it's to the lion's den." This kind of faith is vital today. Like Paul, we may face challenges that feel overwhelming or unjust. But when we focus on God's mission, we realize no human scheme can derail his plans. Our trials are not just obstacles. They are opportunities to advance God's kingdom. Paul also teaches us the importance of wisdom and courage. He didn't passively accept his circumstances or act impulsively. His appeal to Caesar was a strategic, faith-filled decision to spread the gospel further. Likewise, we are called to make wise choices, using everyday opportunities and every hardship as a platform to point others to Christ. Paul's journey to Rome wasn't a detour. It was part of God's perfect plan. His faith turned captivity into a platform for the gospel, showing us that no situation is wasted in God's hands. As we face our own trials, let's follow Paul's example. Let's stand firm, trust God's purposes, and use every challenge as an opportunity to reveal Jesus. Like Paul, let's choose to stand firm, to move forward in faith, and to reveal Jesus to a world that desperately needs him. And let's remember, no matter what, God is at work, and he is using us in his unstoppable mission.